go on that. Give it one more minute. Hello, everyone. My name is Rebecca Pearl, and I'm the Financial Literacy Program Specialist for AARP ElderWatch. Thank you so much for joining us today and participating in our webinar about holiday budgeting. This webinar is a part of a 20-event series to close out 2020 with information about saving money, talking about finances, and protecting yourself from frauds and scams. This is an interactive webinar. In the chat box, please feel free to ask your questions and we will answer them at the end of the half hour. Co-hosting this webinar with me today is Jacqueline McKinnon, Communications Specialist at Stop Fraud Colorado, an initiative of the Colorado Attorney General's Office. Jacqueline, thank you so much for being here today. Can you say a few words about Stop Fraud Colorado?
Thanks for having me, Rebecca. We are the Consumer Protection Section of the Colorado Attorney General's Office, helping consumers to recognize and report frauds and scams.
Before we get started, I want to mention the partnership between AARP and the Colorado Attorney General's Office that has been sustained for the past 19 years. AARP ElderWatch works to fight financial exploitation of older Coloradans through education and outreach, data collection, and by providing resources about scam prevention and financial security. AARP ElderWatch also has a volunteer staffed helpline where you can report scams or financial exploitation, as well as be connected to a peer-to-peer financial counselor for assistance with various financial issues. Dial 1-800-222-4444, option number 2, to be connected to a trained volunteer. And that phone number is also the last bullet on this slide. So feel free to give us a call at any time. We are here for you. And I will hand it over to Jacqueline.
All right, today we're going to be discussing how to make a budget for the holidays. But before we get to that, please make sure your phone line is muted until the end. Again, this is an interactive webinar, so please put questions in the chat. Finally, this presentation is being recorded and will be posted on AARP Colorado's YouTube page. Now, on to our first step in creating a holiday budget.
The most important thing to do when creating any budget, not just a holiday budget, is to be realistic. So the very first thing that you want to do is consider where the money for your holiday expenses is coming from. Have you been saving money for the holidays since last season? Is there a bonus that you're getting from work that you can use, a few extra bucks in savings that you can spare, or are you simply saving money from each paycheck this month?
So looking at how much you spent last year might also help you set a baseline number for what's realistic to spend on. Once you've calculated your spending limit, be sure to write it down. Next, you're going to want to list out all of your potential expenses this holiday season.
So I would recommend making a list of categories that you're going to likely need to buy things from. So we have a list up on the screen, right? Gifts, wrapping paper, trimming, cards and postage, foods and drinks, decorations, clothing, travel expenses, holiday activities, giving. This is the season of giving. And then miscellaneous things that might not fit under those categories, but you might still need to purchase. So don't forget to include things like wrapping paper, travel costs, and postage, because sometimes we kind of forget those a little bit, but they can add up very quickly. So once you have all of your categories listed, rank them based on how important they are to you. So for example, if getting gifts for your family is the most important thing, rank that number 1. If getting new clothing for yourself is the lowest, rank that last. Setting these priorities will make it easier for you if you need to trim costs at a later time.
The next step in allocating funds for each item. Remember your baseline number while you're doing this. Take into account the quantity of what you need to buy as well. looking back at how much you spent last year or finding prices and deals online or in newspaper ads will make the process easier.
Before you start your shopping, before you start your shopping, you're going to want to adjust your spending to reflect the limit you set in the very first step. So an easy way to save a large amount of money in one swoop is by cutting a low priority category completely. So let's say you're a bit over the budget limit that you set at the very beginning, and you look at the clothing category, and it's going to cost $200 to buy new clothing this year, but it's the lowest thing on your list. Cut that out. How much have you saved? $200. That is a huge amount to save in just one fell swoop. So if that's not something you want to do, though, that is okay. Start by cutting small amounts from the lowest priority categories first. So, let's go back to our thing. Let's say that clothing, decorations, and cards and postage are the three lowest categories. You cut $15 each, that's $45 you've saved. And maybe there's a bit more that you can lop off from a different category, like holiday activities. Maybe there's one holiday activity that you can substitute for a free one. And maybe there's some gifts that you can make yourself. We'll get to those ideas in a few minutes. Okay. There we go.
Luckily, there's a lot of ways to save during the holiday season. Check the internet and newspapers to see what coupons you can find for everything from food to gifts to clothing. There are also internet coupon extensions you can download that will automatically find coupons for you as you shop as well.
If you can, waiting for a few weeks to buy an item that's in high demand can save you a few dollars. So for example, the PS5 is all of the rage right now, and everyone is clamoring to try to buy one. But it's quite expensive. If you're able to wait and maybe give that as a graduation gift or a different gift for a different season, that PS5 price might come down a lot because it's going to be in less of a demand, but it's still going to be the newest thing on the market. If you can't wait, see if the store is offering price matching. A lot of stores do this, so you can go into the store and say, I found this item for $55 online. You have this item in your store for $70. Is there a possibility that you will match the price that I found online? A lot of times they totally will. Also, keep hunting for discounts.
Another important thing to remember is to take care and make sure you're using secure links when giving credit card information over the internet. A secure link should have a little lock in the icon box in the URL and sometimes starts with https://.
Oh, sorry. Yes, our last bullet, my favorite one. If you're making purchases online and sellers are asking you to pay via gift card, peer-to-peer money transfer app, cash, or check, that is a red flag of a scam. Josh and I were literally just talking right before this started. There are sellers that will say, we accept Cash App, we accept Venmo, and we'll mail you your order once you Cash App or Venmo us. Peer-to-peer money transfer apps do not have the protections that banks have, that credit cards have. So if you spend that money and it's a fraudulent purchase, likely that money is gone and there's no way to get it back. So if you have a credit card and you're able to use it and you're buying stuff online, it's going to be the most secure way to make a purchase. Credit cards have extra protections that debit cards and other payment methods do not. And if you buy something and it is a fraudulent product, a lot of times it takes just a few days to dispute that with a credit card company.
And just because you have your budget written down doesn't mean you're done. One of the most important parts of having a budget is tracking how much you actually spend. Do your best to stay within your spending limit.
So at the beginning, right, it's very important to say, how much money do I have to spend? And write that number down. If you have it in front of you, it will make this process just so much easier throughout. And then it's important when we're coming back, like Jacqueline said, make sure that you're sticking with that spending limit. There are so many different ways to track your spending. You can go old fashioned, save all of your receipts, calculate up how much you've spent, and then subtract it from that total spending limit. You can open, and this is like honestly a revolutionary idea, I think. You can open a bank account online just for holiday spending with a very low fees, and just put exactly how much money you would spend in that bank account for the holiday season. And then once that account is empty, you just close it out, or you put more money in for, whatever you're saving for next. You can also use a bunch of different mobile apps that will track your spending in real time. So actually, if you have an online bank account app that you use, probably all of your transactions that you've made in the past, forever actually, will show up there if you go far enough back. So there are a lot of ways that you can track your spending, or that these new technologies will track your spending for you. And tracking your slipping up on tracking may cause you to spend more, right? And we're trying to keep it as budget friendly as possible. So just be really careful that you're tracking your spending, continuing to keep up with the money going in and money going out, and staying within that limit that you've set.
Very important information to know. So when the holiday season is done, evaluate how well you've managed to stick to your budget. If you didn't meet your goals, write down what went wrong and consider when you start saving for next year. Think about alternative saving options and ways you can cut back a bit on costs next season.
This year, especially, as people are turning more and more to online shopping, there are going to be lots of scams on the internet. So before you buy, check the identity of the seller. Again, if you're finding just products on Instagram that you like, and they're showing up and there's really no information about that seller other than an email or a username on Instagram, you can't find anything else about them, it's probably a scam. If you are able to find where their physical location is, what the name of the actual company is, stuff like that, and that they actually sell those products, that's perfect. That's the information that you want to know. So before you buy, also read the store or product reviews from trusted sources such as the Better Business Bureau. We have a whole 30-minute webinar on this topic alone, just checking consumer reviews. And this can be really, really helpful in figuring out what is a good product or service to buy and how to move forward with it. A seller should only ask for your credit card number, your address, name, and maybe a phone number when you're buying something. So if they're asking for any more information than that, you should definitely be questioning their intentions. If they're asking you for any personal information, such as a social security number, do not go with that seller. They are trying to steal your information. And remember, don't give your social security number out to anyone. That's like your underpants. Keep it private. And lastly, again, paying with a credit card is your best bet for having a smooth refund process if the sale does end up a scam.
Thanks for those tips, Rebecca. And finally, we're going to leave you with some fun alternative gift ideas to cut costs. Make gifts yourself for your friends and your family. Maybe cook them something, bake cookies, or give them a coupon book for hugs, meals, or getting out of chores. Donating a set amount of money for the person you need to buy a gift for is also a nice way to honor people, especially during the giving season. Also, don't forget to check your local thrift store for trinkets that could be turned into gifts.
Those are wonderful ideas. I really like the idea of donating a set amount of money in someone's name. So for example, if I need to give gifts to 10 people, and they're 10 pretty close friends, I'll pick a sum of money in a cause that means a lot to them, and then just donate, $15 per person to a cause that means a lot to them. They get that email and makes everyone feel pretty good. So we're going to leave you with a few resources. Oh, I'm sorry. Actually, so we're going to leave you with these resources minus the last one on the list, Brothers Redevelopment. This accidentally got copied over from a previous slideshow. But if you are looking for more information on consumer protection, the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau is a great place to go. They have tons of information about budgeting, finances, how to protect yourself. Really great resource. The Federal Trade Commission is also a great place to go, especially if you need to report a fraud or a scam, but you can also come to us for that. AARP Money has a lot of wonderful tips on how to save, spend, and keep your money, especially this holiday season. They've been putting out tons of content on safe purchases, best deals, etc. And then AARP Elder Watch. Visit us at any time for any consumer protection, fraud prevention needs. Our website is aarpelderwatch.org. And then again, our phone number is 1-800-222-4444, option 2. And I'm having some technical difficulties and I can't see exactly who, I'm sorry. Yes, there it is. Okay. I'm going to stop sharing so we can answer some questions because I was unable to see the chat as we were going. Please feel free to send any questions you have in. I see there's some in the Q&A box, and I'm going to, sorry. Jacqueline, are you able to see those by chance?
Yeah, so I do see one question inquiring, are there seasonal jobs at stores this year because COVID might be a little different?
Mm-hmm. I see them now, yes. Yep, so there's 3. Have you heard about scams involving Amazon? Are there still seasonal jobs at store this year because of COVID? And then is there an app that keeps me from buying too much stuff on Amazon? So the first one, have we heard about scams involving Amazon? Yes, all the time. It's not necessarily, and Jacqueline, please feel free to jump in at any point. It's not necessarily scams involving the legitimate Amazon. A lot of times it's scams of people pretending to be Amazon, and either sending a code saying, oh, if you press this link, this is called phishing. So they'll send you a link, and if you press this link, it will lead you to a refund for a purchase that you've made. Or you'll see something in your email like this has been shipped. You might have not made a purchase. And there's also a scam called the brushing scam, and this is a popular Amazon scam, and it's where random items will start appearing at your house, and it's actually a way that overseas sellers are able to give themselves their own reviews and boost credibility for products on Amazon that might not be legitimate. So for Amazon, if you're getting an unsolicited email from Amazon and it doesn't say https://www.amazon.com, it is a scam. Check your account, go to the website, check your account. If you're getting emails that say, there's something going on with your account, check your account from the web browser. This will save you lots and lots of trouble. Feel free to add on anything I might have missed.
Yeah. Those are all definitely great tips, Rebecca. One particular scam that we have seen with Amazon are scammers are actually pretending to be customer service representatives from Amazon. So what we have seen happen is a consumer may have an issue with a package or a missing delivery, and they might do a quick Google search to try and find that Amazon customer service number. But what a lot of scammers have done is basically utilize search engines to kind of populate their phone number at the top of the search option. So you're in fact could be calling a scammer, and then that is when phishing comes into play, and they will start to ask for very personal information such as bank account information, which should never be shared. So again, just this holiday season, if you are Googling a customer service number, whether it is with Amazon or with a different company, just try and call to a number that you know to be true, maybe looking at a statement, looking at a bill from your credit card versus just Googling the numbers, because scammers have also really taken advantage of the fact that consumers can just try and quickly Google a customer service number for a solution. So again, that is something to definitely be aware of, whether you're spending money or shopping on Amazon or any other major platform.
That is a great tip to add. And I was going to say, especially with those phone numbers, we've gotten reports of people using, for example, their Siri or Google Home to look up those numbers. And that smart device actually has called a scammer because that was the first number that appeared. So be really, really careful when you're searching for those customer service lines, like Jacqueline said. Thank you so much. That was great tips. And I'm just going to jump to the second Amazon question. Is there an app that keeps me from buying too much crap on Amazon? There's not an app that's been created yet, but while Amazon can be the best place ever because you can get basically any product within 2 days, there are a lot of small businesses this season that are seeing really big effects of COVID and need support from local community members. So while it might make sense to just click whatever items you need on Amazon, see what your local sellers have in stock and what they can offer you as well. And maybe that is a good solution to getting off the Amazon craze. And then the seasonal jobs question. Are there still seasonal jobs at the stores this year because of COVID? I'm understanding that it really depends on where you are. So check locally as to what the guidelines for COVID are in your area. And then also just check with the retailers that you're interested in getting a job with. Give them a phone call. You can oftentimes just find an application online if they're hiring. Because I'm not exactly sure, but I would just definitely check based on COVID guidelines, stuff like that. Do you have anything else to add with those?
No, I think those are definitely great tips. Totally check with your local county, check with their guidelines. And again, as Rebecca mentioned, check with that retailer or other store that you might be interested in and see how they're approaching holiday hiring this year.
And then our final question is, do you have any ideas to tell my friends or family that I don't want to do a gift exchange this year? So personally, I feel this one on a very deep level. I do not like getting gifts. Everyone has, those like love language things. I took like a love language test, and they're like, getting gifts, the lowest thing, like the lowest way people can show that they love you, right? So as a person who does not like a gift exchange, I usually just say, please don't get me anything. I just don't want a present. But also, is there something else that we can do other than exchange gifts, right? For me, quality time is really important. So I don't want to do a gift exchange with my friends, but my small little COVID pod, I want to go have a picnic with them, right? So that's a suggestion that I pose. Instead of doing gifts, why don't we all bring a dish? We'll meet at a park and we'll eat together. And that's perfect.
Yeah, those suggestions. And another thought, this is the giving season, and as we shared in the presentation, that, it is also a great way to just donate in someone's honor to a cause that speaks to you. So that's another way in which someone can possibly navigate away from doing a gift exchange, but, donating to a local cause or a charity in that person's honor. So those are just some other ideas instead of doing a gift exchange.
And I think following up on that, the last question that we just got in, my mom gets me a wallet every year. Is there a polite way of saying, please don't give me a wallet again? I think there is. I think saying, Mom, I really love that you give me a wallet every single year. However, the wallet from last year that you gave me still works perfectly, and I love it. It is my favorite wallet in the entire world. If you need to add a little bit of the sugar, it's okay. But this year, if you could either get me X instead, or, back to the donation thing, if you could donate X amount of, the amount a wallet would be in my name to this charity that means a lot to me, that I think is a good way to ask Mom politely, please don't give me a wallet. Sounds like you have quite the wallet collection, though. And Jacqueline, do you have anything else to add? Any final closing remarks for everyone who's joined us today? And thank you again all so much for joining us today.
Yeah, just final closing remarks, just shop smart, shop on secured websites. Again, as we talked, just making sure that web browser says HTTPS // just to ensure that if you are making a transaction with that site, your information is protected. Never give personal information, social security number, or bank account information to anyone who calls and asks for it, because robocalls are still happening regardless of the holidays. But just be heightened if something seems fishy or if something seems out of the ordinary. Even in the middle of this, you may get a robocall saying your utility will get shut off. It's a scam. There are just so many different scams happening this holiday season. So definitely just be vigilant, protect yourself, protect your wallet, and protect your information.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for joining us today, Jacqueline. And the last thing that I do want to say is stick to that budget. List your priorities, find your baseline spending limit, stick to that limit. If you have to go a little over, that's okay. Just know how you're going to make up for going a little bit over. And if you have any questions, of course, give us a call at any time. We are happy to help. Have a safe, happy holiday season, and join us on later this week for another 20 in 2020 on peer-to-peer financial peer-to-peer payment apps. So that's wonderful. Thank you all so much. Have a great day.
Bye, everyone.